architects committed to improving where we live by helping make communities safe and healthy through the power of design.
I would like to see architecture have a much broader understanding of the roles that architecture can play in society.
I don't want to predict the future, but I will say that the master builder, I think, is coming back.
Predictions and trends, that's an interesting question because I hate trends.
As architects and designers, I feel that we have this natural urge to help people and help build a better world.
Predicting the future of architecture can be a fun exercise, especially when no one holds you accountable for your predictions. Unfortunately, there's no crystal ball. What we do in the future is what we've always done: adapt to changing circumstances. We adapt to changes in technology, manufacturing, environment, demographics, and of course, economics. Today, our profession is confronted with seismic shifts. To understand where architecture might be going, we look to current trends for clues.
Designers and architects get a little bit too hung up on the wrong things, that they really don't understand how essential they are to human well-being and to society's solutions to its big problems.
So what are we talking about?
We need to be more in the ready-to-wear world than we have been. We can't only hang out in the haute couture world. It's not that haute couture doesn't have a role to play in influencing pret-a-porter, but the real challenges are in clothing lots of people, to continue the analogy, rather than clothing one or two people.
Right, and historically the issue with a lot of schools of architecture is that we've been focused on that haute couture, that special, the one-off, right?
What's important to me is making architecture and design accessible and affordable for everybody.
Urbanism. It's focusing on cities. That's where we're going to go. That's where we're going to be in the very, very near future. That's where we already are.
I'm interested in residential architecture, and especially in incorporating technology into it.
Technology has made the design and building process faster and more efficient. Whether it's BIM or more automated building techniques, these changes significantly impact architecture.
Building a model using BIM allows us to have confidence in what we're going to actually construct. It's what you see is what you get. And that allows subcontractors and other parties to prefabricate elements off-site. And that has a myriad of benefits.
We're converting everything to BIM. We see clients asking for it. Some clients ask for it. They don't know what they're asking for, but they think it's a good idea. To be able to see what you're doing in 3 dimensions, to be able to identify problem areas, it's a wonderful thing up front.
The makeup of a firm, its size and organization, its setting, urban or suburban, even the internal layout of the office all contribute to a firm's design methodology. At Payette's office, one large space houses the entire practice. So tell me about this space.
Well, this is one of the pinup areas, the collaboration areas we have throughout the office. And what it does is it represents a bit of the life of a project.
I look over, I don't see any sense of hierarchy. You don't know where the principals sit, you don't know where the president sits. I mean, it really does have the quality of being an architecture school again.
Even the idea of an office in some way has created something. It's a studio. It's a place where you create and you discover things. It's a place where you do research, where you do real work, you make things.
For Charles Rose and Associates, the practice has also made adaptations. Very nice.
We've really tried to broaden the offerings that we bring. And we not only do buildings now, but we do landscape. We're interested in looking at urban situations, planning situations, anything to bring us into a broader context. We're trying to really conceive of ourselves as creators of the entire built environment.
Everyone talks about sustainable buildings, creating smarter buildings, products, and systems for the environment. But given the current economic realities, is it really viable? Well, some would say it's not a choice, but a necessity.
Is it more expensive to design a zero net building? You still got an initial extra cost, whether it's wind turbines, whether it's biomass boilers. So yes, it can be expensive.
This project, it's a transit center. It's also a governmental offices building. So in this case, we've taken it to the extreme where it's a net zero.
Charles Rose and Arup have partnered on a net zero building with skylights, clerestory glass, and screens to reduce solar heat gain. A solar wall, biomass fuel storage, photovoltaic array, and overhangs to shield people from the sun.
In the course of the year, we generate as much power through renewable sources as the building consumes.
I studied geology as an undergrad, and I became very interested in how buildings work with the landscape.
I had a professor last year that told me that AutoCAD was just a glorified pencil, and that when you're designing the spaces, you should really look at the spaces as a whole.
I'm from the Dominican Republic, so I'm trying to get better housing into my country. So I know now that I have to go a step further than just architecture. I have to get involved with politicians, associations, and agencies.
Affordable housing doesn't need to be in conflict with good design. Community design can have a profound effect on the lives of people in these developments.
I think we're coming in sort of a renaissance in community design. Housing is a core need and the sort of bare minimum. I hope that architects will see themselves as agents of progressive change.
People are really starting to realize that there's something that has to be adjusted. So I think that makes it a very exciting time societally, and it makes it a very exciting time for design professionals who want to help figure out solutions to those problems and help figure out a new role for themselves.
Sustainable Healthcare for Haiti aims to deliver education and healthcare to the people who live there.
Here's an opportunity to design some sort of shelter. It's a great way to make an immediate impact on the world. It's a great opportunity to develop, design, and build something and actually see it done.
Traditional terms and job titles may be too confining for what an architect does today. And going forward, the role of the architect will expand even further. President Scott Cohen sees big changes to the spaces where we live and work.
And in a certain way, the changes that have to do with the fact that more people communicate remotely than ever before and in more extreme ways than anyone had anticipated, leaves architecture out of the equation. One could be anywhere sitting with their laptop. I don't have to be in my workspace any longer, or I don't have to be necessarily tied to any particular kind of spatial arrangement. I'm not saying they're going to go away. There's still going to be dedicated offices and classrooms and auditoriums and theaters and museums and houses, and they'll all do many things that they've done for a long time. And I don't know quite where it's leading us. Do you have an answer? I don't have it.
I remember I was working with a person in San Francisco, and this person wasn't an architect, but he was very well versed in using the computers, being able to do 3D, so it was just really like talking to another architect to a certain point. So I think all of these tools that are available out there somehow are going to inform people. They can use them and somehow they can challenge us too.
You could also talk about the health of architecture as relevancy. And we have a way of being incredibly relevant. There's lots of societal problems that need to be dealt with, and buildings have a way, and design has a way of addressing those things. We as a profession can decide whether we're going to be vital and relevant and contribute on every street corner, or whether we're going to somehow follow the pressures of what it takes to be more efficient, more effective in some measure, and then somehow become less relevant.
In the end, there will always be a need for architects and architecture. But the question is, how relevant will we be? If we cling to a narrow definition of architecture, we'll find ourselves marginalized. But if we embrace the challenges confronting the profession head-on and focus on issues like climate change, social inequality, or creating healthy human habitats, architects will be as relevant as ever.